Okay, just setting up here, ladies and gentlemen. Give me one moment. And thank you for tuning in to another Lightroom tutorial, and this time it's about fire, long exposure, night photography. Just making sure to monitor the chats on a separate device. And I do welcome you all to this Lightroom tutorial. This tutorial is going to focus on fire and spark photography at night. Well, technically blue hour, but at night. So 3 initiative topics in one video: fire, long exposure, and night photography. So with that said, I just want to make sure that everyone is adjusted, and if you are watching this later on, please stay to the very end of the video to see what I have to offer to you. But with that said, thank you everyone from the Panda Nation. You have been speaking to the Panda Photographer from 646studios.com, and today I'm giving you a Lightroom tutorial on how to touch up on this particular photo that you see before you right now. This photo was taken also in Madison, Wisconsin. I actually had a little bit of help this time. A local amateur photographer, Alfred Davis, was the one that's actually, all you had to do was hit the trigger, let the timer go off, and let it go off for about 15 seconds. But this photo was taken in Lake Monona, right in front of the UW's Memorial Union campus, on campus by the way, where they have a bunch of activities that you can do while you're on the campus during the summer hours. You can go sailing, you can go wakeboarding, you can go swimming, and it's a very fun town. And I went to the university there, so it's a great university, great town, probably one of the best places to visit during the spring and summertime. But with that said, everyone, please hit the notification button and share this content with your fellow photographers. And if you want to support this channel, you can by hitting that PayPal donation link down below. It really helps me out. And with that said, let's roll my intro. And if you have not had the opportunity to go to my website at 646studios.com, where I have tutorials on videography and photography, and you could go check out some of the gear reviews that I have written for a bunch of lenses and other products as well. And hopefully you guys like the content and check out my portfolio. And please do make sure that you do subscribe to this particular channel to see more content like this on this channel. But like I said, I am the Panda Photographer, and I'm going to show you how to magically touch up this particular photo. Now this photo here was taken in Madison, Wisconsin, and it was sometime in August, and actually it was August 3rd, 2016, and I basically wanted to do something that you're not allowed to do on the campus at all. You're not supposed to be playing with fire on the campus, and I could have got a ticket for this. I could have got arrested for it, but I didn't, and the police wanted to know what was going on. So I'm doing fire exposure for photography, and that's why I went down to the dock and walked through the walking dock at the end where there's water, so just in case it wasn't on the property but it's off the property, but it still is the property. But I still wanted to stress enough that it was a dangerous move, a dangerous gamble. By the way, I could have got it's a $10,000 summoned fine to play with fire, and I could have been arrested for up to 6 months. So yeah, the campus is very strict about playing with fire, and I use wool and I use the whisk that you mix pancakes with, and put the wool inside. 9-volt battery. Take the 9-volt battery, stick it up, and before that I did use a string to spin it. So, and that 9-volt battery is also capable of making the spark. So you touch it one time or a few times so you get the sparks, let it get some oxygen, then you spin it, and then you can do the long exposure. So I did have some help from Alfred Davis, local photographer that I was educated on, but just go ahead and touch up this photo really fast. So I am using my Wacom tablet, and I am using it as my initial tool to touch up on all of my photography. I do use the mouse sometimes, but most of the time I'm using my Wacom tablet. But I'm gonna go down here, and I did shoot this raw. I did shoot this with the A77 Mark II, which is an A-mount crop sensor camera with the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 art lens. Now, if you look at the settings which are above you, you can see that I did everything. You can see that I shot it at actually let me show you up here that I did shoot it at Sigma 18-35, which is right there, and pretty good. Shot it at what is that, 35 mil at ISO 100, and I am using a newer 160 LED light to light my face right now, so that's why I'm zooming into the screen. Like I said, there was only minor repairs to this laptop. It's not fixed, but it's going to do the job for now. But like I said, let's go touch this photo up, and I do feel that the color science on the A-mount series cameras are much better than the E-mounts. And I'm just going to actually talk about something that I said in my Why Photographers Switch to Sony rant video. Now, I initially said that the first EVF camera was in 2003, which it was. It was actually called the Sony DSC R1, which was capable of ISO 160 to 3200. It was first to actually implement Adobe RGB. It was the first of its kind, and it was already ahead of its time, and it was very pricey at the time. So, and very good knowledge. It had a Carl-Zeiss lens on it, and it was actually forwarded onto the A-mount system. So, with that said, I'm actually going to go down here, and I am going to choose the camera's color science instead of Adobe's color science. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I already set up and raw, even though I do like the color science and on the A-mount series. Now, take this with a grain of salt. You might have a different taste and a different opinion on it, but this is just my thoughts. But just want to make sure that I'm actually paying attention to the chat, and I have super chat now, so thanks for that, YouTube. So I have over 1,000 subscribers, actually 1,036 subscribers right now, and growing very fast. So, but first thing I want to do is just choose a preset, and I'm going to choose a very lovely preset. Now I have many options here. I can use this preset if I wanted to. If you look at my navigation screen, you can see that it's going to give me that really nice little it's going to give me a very interesting image look, but I want something more ballsy. I do like the boar's head. I like the black and white. You can see how the light separates itself, and you can see that's like that aurora in the background of the sunset, but it's actually blue aura, and this is also considered as night photography and fire exposure. So I like this warm tone too, but it doesn't fit my character as much. So yes, I do like that. For some reason that boar's head does look really interesting. This is blue aura, so I want to emphasize the blue. So I do want to, to me that looks a little bit not as blue hour, but it is keeping focus on the subject, which is me. That's me there actually doing the long exposure. And I do have my A7R A7R2 on my side with my micro lens and doing the fire exposure. So it's like I said, very dangerous thing to do on campus grounds, and you can go to get arrested, you can get fined, you can go to jail for it. But lucky for me, I avoided it as a fellow student. Yes, I'm gonna do real HD. Don't want to. Let's see here. I'm very selective, so let's do full control. All right. Do full control, and I'm gonna make adjustments based on what I see here. So I am going to fix some of the highlights. Actually, let's do night vision. Yeah, kind of like the night vision. Night vision is a better suited preset for this one. So open the shadows, that looks good. Now I'm gonna kind of pull back off the blacks a little bit, and I'm going to decrease the clarity just a bit, open that vibrance up. So I'm increasing my vibrance. Not sure if you can see over my screen here, but let me show you what I'm actually doing, because I know that my webcam is actually in the bottom corner there, so I do want to make sure that you guys can see it. Now leave your comments down in the descriptions below. Let me know what you guys think of this tutorial and the new look of how these live Lightroom tutorials are going to look in the future. But I am going to increase saturation, and I'm going to put in 12, and I'm going to go minimize that, and I am going to do a bit of a color pop here. I am going to decrease, sounds good. And here is where I get very now I'm going to add some sharpness to this photo. I am going to make sure that it's not over saturated with sharpness, but I am going to keep it. That looks good. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that looks really good. So yes, everyone, this was shot with the A77 Mark II, which is an aim-out crop sensor camera, and with the Sigma 18-35, which is a very phenomenal and excellent optical lens. It's a very good lens for any camera. If you have a Canon or a Nikon, a Pentax, or Fuji. I don't think they make it for Fuji. I think they have adapters for Fuji, but I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. But it's an excellent lens. Okay, it's sold. And what I'm going to do next is I'm looking for spots in my image, so I'm going to clean it up with spot removal. So I'm looking for spots. I see one right there. Okay. So always make sure that you clean up your image. See, there's a spot there that needs to be retouched. Put this right beside it so it looks more natural. Looking for spots it's very important that you look for the spots, because it could be dust particles, it could be spots that's on the lens itself. You don't want that, especially if someone's pixel peeping your photos, or if you want to print this out on a big scale or have it in your home and you notice that now you have spots over it and now you have to clean it up. So it's very important to look for these spots. And make sure you go over the same spot multiple times. From edge to edge. Don't see any. Don't do that. I like how Microsoft tries to force you to update while you're doing something and interrupts every single time. Okay, I'm looking for spots and I don't really see it with my screen not working very well, but I can tell if I have one part of this side of the screen. Now I'm gonna look for spots in the lower area. So be patient, look for the spots. Make sure that you completely eliminate some of the spots that you don't want in your images, and it's very important that you absolutely take your time doing it. Now I'm killing time in Lightroom, but you can see me spend more time doing the spot remover and looking and being careful see, like that doesn't look natural to me. There we are. And we are almost done here. You can see the boat moving in the water. Now I can also do this. You can also do that to hide some of the shakiness in the footage. So if I wanted to, do this. See how that looks now? But it doesn't look really natural, so you can clean it up by feathering it. So we're gonna go back. Alright, that looks better. Looks much better. And then I'm gonna actually bring down the clarity just a little bit more. Do it at 20. And ta-da! We are all done here. But took longer than I expected. But if you are going to actually take the time out to remove spots from the image, you do this to every single image that you are going to add, especially raw files that you are going to want to print. Make sure that all the spots are removed, there's no dust patterns, there's no, if you want to feather something, you can feather something as you do spot removal. You can do a number of things in Lightroom. Lightroom has hidden features that you can find. Now some people may prefer Photoshop, but I prefer Lightroom, and I use Photoshop quite often for a lot of other things, but I use Photoshop for photo immersion and everything else, and stitching. If you never did photo stitching, it's like taking multiple images and put them together and you get a big Y image. Another photographer that does it really well, other than myself, because I don't do it quite often, is Darren Shimabuku. I'm pronouncing his last name. He's an Hawaiian-based photographer out in Hawaii, and his portrait, his landscapes are just phenomenal. Check his channel out. I will probably link that somewhere in the descriptions below, so you guys are going to go check out his channel. He does really remarkable things, and I think he's the most underrated Sony A mount user to date, because if you guys don't know what he can do with just the A9, A99 and A99 Mark II, you'd be blown away how he brings images and pops those images to life. So I'm representing photographers that don't get a lot of recognition for their work they do and their work that they should be getting recognition for, and these are the photographers that Sony should be focusing on, not these photographers that are just trying to switch over and then try to get noticed by Sony, because that's not Sony's objective. Sony's objective here is to put out cameras and have people use it for some time. But with that said, everyone, it's been a pleasure and it's been an honor, and please do, like I said, if you're new to this channel, if you just watch this later after the live has been set, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do hit the notification button to share the content, and if you do share it, please share it within the community. And if you want to support this channel and support what I do as a travel photographer, please help me out in the PayPal link down in the descriptions below. But with that said, eat, sleep, photography, and repeat, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.